Hey parents, thanks for joining me for level 3 or letter C that we're going to see in your child's books. As I kind of go through some things that we're going to be working on this level 3. Again, just like in levels 1 and 2, we're going to continue to encourage your child to use some strategies that they've used in the past. So we're going to continue to encourage them to use pointer pup, where they're pointing to the words and tapping under each word as they say them. And again, like I mentioned before, they're going to make sure that what they say is what they see and what they're touching. And it's important that those match. So we'll be working on that in level 3. We're going to continue to use our eagle eye to look at the pictures to help us find those clues that may lead us to predicting or reading the right words. We're going to continue and really work hard on lips the fish. So getting our mouths ready for words that we encounter that we may not know by sight. And that means we're going to look at that line leader, the first letter in the word, and we're going to get our mouth ready by saying that sound. And I want to take a moment to tell you that sometimes just by your child getting their mouth ready and making the first sound in the word, they are going to be able to predict what that word is because it makes sense in the sentence and move on quickly. Sometimes they're not, and sometimes it's going to require them to move on to our next strategy, which is stretchy snake. And they're going to need to actually look at every letter in the word. So not just the line leader, but all of our friends in line. And we're going to go through and we're going to use all of those phonics skills that we've been working hard on, that stacking them up and building up. And we're going to then apply those by stretching those words out. And I'm going to take up some time to talk to you about another thing that we're pulling in. So we're going to stretch those words, but in conjunction with that, we're going to start to be applying what our next strategy is, which is called chunky monkey. So we're going to start looking for chunks inside of words, chunks that we already know inside of bigger words. So at the bottom, you can see the word scat, and you see the word cat is underlined. So your child might recognize, hey, I know that word, that's cat. So this is cat, scat. And they're going to start to realize that they can actually read bigger words based on some smaller words that they know. Okay, and they're also going to see other chunks, and we're going to talk about vowel teams and things like that, TH digraphs, things that go together that they're going to see chunked together that they're going to start to recognize. So that's going to go hand in hand with our stretchy snake. Yes, I'm going to get my mouth ready. Yes, I'm going to look at all of the letters inside that word now, and I'm even going to recognize some chunks that I know so that I can read those words quickly. The other thing in this level, in level 3, that we're going to work hard on is something called Flippy Dolphin. By this time, our children are understanding that sometimes letters make different sounds. In fact, we have many letters in our alphabet that make 2 sounds. The vowels make 2 sounds, but not only the vowels, but C and J and G and S and a lot of other ones. And so at this point, we're starting to roll out those other sounds and teaching your child to say, okay, we're going to say the sound that we know first, but then we're going to flip it and try the other sound that it makes if it doesn't make sense in what I'm saying. So if I'm trying to read the word time, but I keep saying tim, and it's not making sense in the sentence, I'm going to start to recognize, oh, wait a minute, that I is one of those letters that makes another sound. Let's try it and flip it and see if it works. I'm. Oh, that makes sense in my sentence. So we're going through that strategy of flipping to hear different sounds to see what makes sense. Now, you and I as readers, we do this automatically, but your child's going to need practice. They're going to need prompting from you at home to say, wait a minute, I want you to look, does that letter make another sound? And encouraging them to manipulate and flip those sounds to see if it'll make better sense in the sentence. So again, when you look back, that's a lot of strategies that we're now pulling and putting in place as we read. And don't forget, you have this reading strategy page in your child's homework binder just for your reference as we're looking at these. And you can even pull that out and say, listen, I need you, or you need to, like Flippy Dolphin. We got to look at all those letters that make different sounds, and we got to try that out. So that's there for you as a resource and a reference. Now let me go ahead and pull you right into a level 3 book. Here we go. Okay. This book is called Bedtime Snack. Again, pay attention in the corner. You'll see level C, but level C is a level 3. They go hand in hand. Bedtime Snack, you're going to notice a couple things. Let's see if we can get moving. First of all, we have multiple sentences now. So in levels 1 and 2, we are typically one sentence, very predictable. One word was changing. We did notice by the end of level 2 that the last page was a little different. They threw some different things in there to see, number one, are we tracking? Are we paying attention to what we're reading? And can we stretch and try to make sense of what those words are? Level 3 is a lot more. And so we've got multiple sentences, and our patterning is going to start to shift. Now you'll see that there's a lot of patterning still in level 3, which we kind of need there as support as we're trying to build these other skills within your child. But that patterning is going to go away in level 4. So we really don't want to rely on that patterning. So what you'll notice in a lot of level 3s is the first page is a little different than the rest of the page. So unlike the level 2s where the last page was different, we're kind of flip-flopping. Or you might even notice within a level 3, sometimes the patterning kind of changes. But there still is that patterning there just as a support for your child. So if we look at this level 3, it was time for bed, but Jack was hungry. I will get an orange to eat, he said. Now your child is gonna know some of these words, but there's a lot of words on here that they may not know, like the word hungry. And so we're gonna have to use those strategies of, okay, let's look at the line later. It says, let's stretch that word. We see g, r, and we're gonna talk about that tricky Y at the end. And then we're gonna put that together to get that word hungry. Your child may also say, and recognize that it has to be hungry. It was time for bed, but Jack was happy. Does that make sense? Hungry would make sense. So they may try to predict what that word is, and then you would want to encourage them to stretch that out and look at all the letters. As we go through this, you're going to see, okay, here are patterns changing a little bit. Jack was still hungry. I will get some watermelon to eat, he said. Jack was still hungry. I will get a peach to eat, he said. So there's that patterning again. Jack was still hungry. I will get some chips to eat, he said. Jack was still hungry. I will get some grapes to eat, he said. Jack was still hungry. I will get some milk to drink, he said. So we've got a couple things changing. Notice grapes to eat, milk to drink. Okay, 2 words that are changing again. And finally, at the end, we've got that unpredictable again. Jack was not hungry. I will go to bed, he said. And there's where that reading really has to happen. So unlike level 2, where just that final page where we really had to kind of stop and really do some reading, level 3, we're going to see it at the beginning. We may see it at the end. We may even see a little bit of a pattern change in the middle of the story. So you're going to want to really hold your child accountable to lips the fish, getting that mouth ready for that word if we don't know what it is right away. Stretchy snake, stretching through, saying the sounds. As we're stretching through, we're going to also look for chunky monkey. We're going to look for things that we may know. We're also going to flip vowels or flip other letters that make other sounds until we can get something that makes sense. I will tell you, parents, as a teacher and having done this for multiple years, that this level can be one that gives you gray hair as a teacher and as a parent, because you truly have to let your child mess up, stop and go back. And we automatically, all of us, even teachers, want to jump in there and give them that answer. But I promise you, if you hold to your guns and you don't do that, and you give them the opportunity to be a little messy with their reading, and go back in and try it again, that strength of those strategies will improve greatly. So best of luck to you at home. Best of luck to all the teachers out there that are at a level 3. And we'll get through it. And then next time you'll be able to click on the link so that I can share with you about level 4.